Good evening, and welcome to another dramatic reading in Drummy's Fanfiction Corner. It has been some time since I have performed a dramatic reading, but it's an idea that I've wanted to bring back for some time. A chance to give credence to the many folks, young and old, who work to give their hearts into works of fictional literature. To be fair, not all that shall be read here is meant to be taken seriously, and any piece of fanfiction should be taken with a bit of fun. The purpose of these dramatic readings is to simply have fun with the community, and to show off fiction that I think is well written, or at the very least interesting, while giving a dramatic reading of the work. I will not be performing any full dramatic readings of any works that I show here, unless I am requested to do so. And with that, let's move on to our piece of the evening. A Dance with Sunsarity is part of a collection of romantic episodes between Sunset Shimmer and the other main characters of the show. Pretending to be Rarity's boyfriend at her cousin's wedding isn't the weirdest thing Sunset Shimmer has ever had to do for her friends. It might even be fun. But just what is Rarity hoping to get out of this subterfuge in the first place? Let us begin. And there! Perfect! Sunset stepped backwards, straightened her suit coat, and admired herself in the mirror. Wow, Rarity, this actually looks pretty good on me. Oh, isn't it just lovely? Rarity said, squealing. I know suits aren't really my thing, but this image just sort of popped into my head, and I knew I had to give it a shot, because it would be perfect, and just look at you, so unbelievably dapper. You do know your fashion, Sunset said with a grin. She twisted about, checking her reflection in the various mirrors stuffed into Rarity's cramped workshop, then strutted around a bit to see how it moved. And I guess I don't, so I'm probably way off, but isn't this more of a masculine cut? Rarity's exuberance faltered briefly, and she tried to play it off with a giggle that was perhaps a little too forced. Well, maybe a little more than would be standard for a girl with your measurements. Like I said, I had a design and wanted to try it. If you say so, Sunset frowned, tapping her foot, then snapped her fingers as a thought came to her. She grabbed a nearby ribbon from Rarity's desk, then reached up behind herself and gathered her hair into a ponytail. Once it was secure, she turned to Rarity, spread her legs a little, put on her best roguish grin, and said in her deepest voice, Hey, Rares, you think I could pass for a dude like this? She expected a laugh. Instead, Rarity turned beet red, her eyes wide and darting, back and forth. You pass for a man? I'm not so sure that... I'm sure you could pull something like that off if you wanted to. In fact, it could be a lot of fun. Sunset blinked, raising an eyebrow. Rarity, I'm just kidding. Rarity was certainly prone to dramatics, but something like this was. Is there some ulterior motive here I'm missing? Rarity made a complicated sound that was halfway between a scoff and a coughing fit. Ulterior motive? Sunset, you make me sound so devious. We're all friends here. We do each other favors from time to time. Generosity and all that. You can keep the suit, by the way. You wear it so well, after all. Uh-huh. I bet. Sunset crossed her arms over her chest. I mean, me trying on clothes for you isn't anything new. But I should have known something was fishy when you kept asking whether or not I was doing anything this weekend. Look, like you said, we're both friends, right? You can just get to the point. You don't have to be all coy about it. Coy? I'm not being coy, darling. I'm merely... Rarity trailed off, then let out a long sigh. She flopped down into a nearby chair and buried her face in her hands. I'm sorry, Sunset. You're right. There is something I would really like you to do for me. I'm just afraid you'll think it's weird, is all. Sunset grinned and sat down in a chair of her own.
Come on, Rarity. You know me better than that. I'm a horse wizard from another dimension. Do you really think anything you ask me will be outside of my comfort zone? Oh, you say that? Rarity mumbled, shaking her head. But magic adventures and social functions aren't exactly the same thing. Usually, oh goodness, please don't bring any magic into this.
You should probably tell me what this is first.
Oh, right.
Rarity leaned back and drummed her fingers against the armrest.
Well, my cousin, Limegrass, is getting married, and she's only 2 years older than me. We always had a bit of a rivalry growing up. The wedding is this weekend.
Sunset nodded and let Rarity continue.
Well, back when I accepted the wedding invitation, I knew that I did not want to show up to the party unaccompanied, so I checked the +1 box. And now that it's so close, I need to find someone to go with me.
Sunset blinked, then chuckled.
Is that it?
Come on, Rarity. You're the hottest girl in school.
You don't need my help to find some schmuck to go with you to a wedding. Just crook your finger and half the boys in school will line up for a chance to hang on your arm for evening.
Rarity stuck her nose into the air.
Humph! As if you could find even an ounce of class and sophistication between all the boys in Canterlot High. No, I don't want to go with some high school Neanderthal. I am a lady. I need someone with style, grace, natural charisma. Someone who can make all the other bridesmaids swoon.
So where?
And that's why,
Rarity mumbled, shrinking back on herself and twiddling her fingers together,
I was kind of hoping you could be my boyfriend.
Sunset stared blankly.
What? Just for pretend, of course, Rarity stammered,
blushing furiously.
All you have to do is play a part, like acting in a play.
That's... Sunset slumped in her chair, rubbing at her eyes.
Oh, come on, Rarity, that's ridiculous.
There's no way something like that would work. Rarity shook her head.
No, I'm sure it would. You're very charming and an excellent liar. I'm sure you could absolutely nail it.
Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence, Sunset growled under her breath.
Oh, hush, we both know it's true. While it has caused people a lot of grief in the past, the art of deception can still prove quite valuable. And in this situation, it wouldn't be malicious. Nobody will be hurt.
Sunset took a deep breath and blew her bangs out of her eyes.
All right, I suppose I can give you that. But still, I may not exactly be an expert on human sexual dimorphism, but I'm pretty sure it'll take more than a suit and a ponytail for me to pass convincingly.
Rarity's leaned forward.
Now that's not a problem. A little bit of makeup to draw out your cheekbones to give the illusion of stubble, and we can bind your breasts. Oh, don't give me that look. It's a bit uncomfortable, sure, but certainly bearable for one night. And the deep voice you did earlier was perfect. With some practice, I'm sure nobody will ever know.
Sunset bit her lip and leaned back in the chair, crossing her arms over her chest.
Say, I do help you. If you want me to pretend to be your charming and sophisticated date, then why do I have to do it as a boy? Isn't Sunset Shimmer, Queen of Canterlot High, just as shiny of a trophy to show off to all your distant relatives?
Rarity looked away, tugging at her hair.
Because I'm straight, I suppose. I want to walk in there like a princess, with a handsome prince on my arm.
Sunset sighed. Is that sort of storybook image really so important to you that you'll jump through this many hoops to get it? Rarity opened her mouth to respond, but then closed it. There was a distant sort of longing in her eyes, but she lowered her head and mumbled.
Yes.
Sunset let out a long groan.
Ugh! Fine, I'll do it. But you owe me, okay?
Rarity leapt out of her chair, throwing her arms around Sunset.
"Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you! You have no idea how much this means to me. I'll do anything to make it up to you later. Sunset, I promise. Oh, this night is going to be perfect. We're going to have so much fun. I know you're apprehensive, but I'm sure you'll fit right in. There's so much prep to do. We'll have to pick out a good name, and there's a few other things I want to go over before the big event."
And that was our excerpt into A Dance with Sunsarity. I hope you enjoyed it. If you wish to check out the rest of the work written by Oroboro, simply look for A Suit with Sincerity on www.fanfiction.net and check out all the remaining stories written by them as well. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of Drummy's Fanfiction Corner, and hope you come again soon. Until next time, good night, every pony.